Before I was 30, I already had 2 sleeves and leg tattoos, and never once thought I'd be a tattoo artist, never. But it came about, and I took it. I'm a big sports fanatic. I played soccer most of my life. I love dirt bikes, used to race a little bit. Mountain biking, anything outdoors. I'm not a big fisherman, but I do like to hunt. I've got a small ranch outside of town here, so I've got some animals, and I'm an outdoors guy, so that's my life. So I had to give it up, bought a side by side, and kind of went that route. So old man safe zone now. So window tinting, that's what I've done most of my life as a job until about 17 years ago. I got into this. But I've tinted my entire life, so I would still be doing it. And I was in Louisville doing paintless dent repair and window tinting. And another best friend of mine says, "Hey, you remember so-and-so?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "He's tattooing down in Old Town now." And I'm like, "Really? That's crazy." He was a mechanic before, and I had no idea that he was a tattoo artist. So I go over there, reconnect with him, and he's like, "Hey man, this place is going under. The owner went to prison for something, and his kids are running it, and they're not paying the bills. Let's take this thing over." And I didn't know how to tattoo, and I was like, "Well, I don't really know what I'm doing, so it probably doesn't sound like a good idea." And he kept pushing and pushing, and so I called my best friend, who was a tattoo artist, and I asked him what he thought about it, and he's like, "Well, that's a dumb idea. You don't know how to tattoo, and everybody that tries this and doesn't do it fails, because tattooers can be flaky, and when they all leave, you'll be sitting there alone going, "Oh shit, what do I do now?" Thought about it for a while, and then I said screw it, and I went to the owner of the place there, and not the guy that was working there, but the owner of the building, and I told him, "Look, this is my financials, and we'll pay rent. This is my bookkeeper's information." And so he kicked them out, and we took it over, and here we are 17 years later. The biggest obstacle was learning to draw. I didn't know how to draw. So, there's a lot of tattoo artists that can draw better than they tattoo, and some tattoo better than they draw. And it took me time to learn how to draw, and we made it happen. I basically started a shop not knowing how to tattoo. And at my age at that time, that was a big risk, trading a new profession for another one in your mid-30s. It was a challenge, but I feel like, one of my old favorite sayings is, you only get out of it what you put in it. You put nothing in it, you get nothing out of it. And so I worked my butt off, and I learned it. Well, my wife and I moved to Sunset a couple years ago, and I was driving back and forth to Louisville, and that's about an hour drive. And it's not a bad drive, but the more we spent time in Decatur, I was just shocked, to be in a small town, how many tattoos were actually rolling around town. There's a lot of people here that are tattooed. And so we kicked the idea around, and I did some research, and I saw that there was only one other shop here, and very seldom do you get to be the first or second business in a town that's actually thriving, because this place is really rocking. So it kind of made sense, and I'm an entrepreneur, and I like taking risks, and so I was like, well, the other shop's doing good, I've got enough people to rotate, and this is 15 minutes from the house versus an hour. So for me, it was a no-brainer.
Sleeping at the new house, it's still got a lot of stuff in the
So when I was 18, my best friend was pretty heavily tattooed, and it was unheard of back, 1989, 1990. Most guys were either fresh out of prison or in a gang, and he was far from that. So we go to this tattoo shop, and I'm watching him get tattooed, and I just couldn't stand it. I was like, I got to get one. Well, for some reason back then, I guess we had to ask our girlfriends for permission. So I walked outside to the payphone, and I called my girlfriend, because we didn't have cell phones back then. And I said, hey, I kind of fibbed to her. I said, hey, I hope you're not mad, but I just got a tattoo. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I couldn't, I was with my buddy and I couldn't handle it, so I got one. And she's like, all right, whatever. So then I walked right back inside and I got my tattoo. And it was a Marilyn Monroe, because back then she was super popular. And, in the 90s, we all had pictures of Marilyn Monroe all over our house and stuff like that. So, and I got it here and it's covered now. It's no longer there, but that is my first real memory of being introduced to it. I think the TV, I think the Jesse Jameses, those type of guys back in the day sets the movement to where you can be artistic and you can be super clean cut and get tattooed. It doesn't make you a thug. So nothing really surprises me anymore because it's everybody. And it really trips me out when someone's like, well, biblically I can't do it. And it's like, well, I tattooed more than 5 preachers, and I have a book of all of these tattoos that mean all these preachers and Christians that traveled many, many miles to prove their love for God and got a tattoo, and it shows the meaning of all of them. It's kind of cool. So it's been going on for a long time. We're a living canvas in Decatur, Texas, and we're also in Lewisville, Texas. The address here is 605 North 287 Business, Suite 108. And I've got a diverse group of people, so we can do black and gray, we can do a little bit of realism, mostly traditional, watercolor, script, you name it. We've got some good guys and girls, and piercings, we got a great piercer. So yeah, come check us out.